was able to gain even way more knowledge than compared to every other program that he had been a part of. Now, what happened also, he was also able to land an AI engineering internship program. He was also able to land gigs away from that, right? And could be able to use the knowledge from AI Summer of Code to contribute to making the world better. We also had Benedict Ejelonu, who before the program tried to balance his 9 to 5 with learning and upskilling. However, he was able to find a way to get committed into the AI Summer of Code program. And the result for him, he used the knowledge from this particular program to make implementations, attend or join competitions. And what happened? He came second place in the competition, right? Which is a 0.5 mark from the person who came as the first place winner. Now, the impact from the AI Summer of Code cannot be overemphasized. Now, also, we have Chris, who from the past edition mentioned that the AI Summer of Code is something that he is always going to communicate to people. He's always going to preach about the AI Summer of Code because the experience from the AI Summer of Code for him gave him so much insight into how to build better AI applications. Now, with all of these testimonies and more on implement learnings from the AI Summer of Code and make impacts across the world. Now, what does the AI Season 2 offer? The AI Summer of Code Season 2 promises to be even better. Now, we've been able to explore some of the impacts from the past edition, right? To think about what Season 2 offers. Season 2 promises to be even more better, more bigger, and will deliver a whole lot to you. First off, Season 2 is going to run through a 4-month immersive experience, which includes 7 weeks of intensive learning and 10 weeks of practice. Throughout the 7 weeks, you're going to learn so much about the AI concepts and how you can be able to make impacts. The next 10 weeks, you're going to be understanding how those concepts can help you create solutions, how you can make impacts across organizations, across your personal lives, across your friends, family, and the world at large. Now, the AI Summer of Code Season 2 edition has 4 specialist career-focused pathways, whereby you can be able to key into applied AI, machine learning, LLM engineering, or even production AI. Now, these 4 specialist career paths would help you be able to have a critical focus in your learning. So this means that you're not just going to be learning anything or anyhow it comes, right? You have a proper structure of things that you're going to learn. If you're looking at applied AI, you already know these are the concepts that I will be focusing on. If you're looking at LLM engineering, this is exactly what it is, right? So the AI Summer of Code Season 2 edition promises 4 specialist career-focused pathways. Now, the AI Summer of Code Season 2 edition, like I already mentioned, is even better. In the past edition, we had 12 world-class engineers who were able to implement or impact the participants. Now, in this year's, we have more than 20 world-class professionals that are very, very big and impactful in the AI space. Now, these over 20 international expert lineups are going to help impact the current participants of this program. Again, the AI Summer of Code Season 2 is not just going to be a program that you come and learn. You're going to have so much more than you expected. Now, we have over 20 international expert lineup that consists of machine learning and artificial intelligence leaders, industry recognized data scientists, and senior engineers, right? So you expect a whole lot from this particular program. And this is not the usual bootcamp or mentorship program that you have. It's more bigger than that. Now, the AI Summer of Code also provides a comprehensive coverage of modern AI tooling and compute infrastructure with various hands-on sessions delivered by pioneers themselves. Now, this way, you're not going to be learning how to utilize some of these modern infrastructures. You're going to be getting those knowledge firsthand from persons who have developed these infrastructures, right? So you're going to be getting a whole lot, not just by going through YouTube videos or content about how to utilize it, but also firsthand from the developers of these particular infrastructures. Now, what are some of the things that we'll be looking at in the AI Summer of Code? 4 specialist career focused pathways: applied AI engineering, machine learning, LLM engineering, and production AI. Now, if you're looking into the applied AI, now what you'll be doing is to understand how to apply pre-trained models and modern AI technologies to build intelligent applications. If you go through the website, you will be able to see some of the key concepts and topics that you can benefit from in this career path. Now, we also have the other pathway, which is machine learning, where you're going to understand systems. Again, if you go through the website, you will be able to see on each of these career pathways what are the concepts that you will be focused on and the impact that you'll be gaining at the end of the day. Now, the next pathway is the LLM engineering, where you get to understand, train, and fine-tune models that power large-scale AI systems such as ChatGPT. Now, imagine this is your first time getting to be in AI, right? And then you have to make a key implementation similar to the likes of ChatGPT. Amazing, right? Awesome. The AI Summer of Code Season 2 is going to help you get immersed into all of these aspects. Now, we also have the production AI, where you learn how to take AI systems from models and prototypes into production and large-scale implementations, right? So there's the applied AI, there is the machine learning, there is the LLM engineering, and lastly, we have production AI. So it depends on what your focus is. You have the opportunity to be able to select whether to go for applied AI or machine learning or LLM engineering or even production AI. So this means that the AI Summer of Code is going to help you learn a whole lot, not just by going through courses or textbooks and the likes, but also having those hands-on implementations. All right. Now, if you can see on my screen, some of the things that we'll be looking at the AI Summer of Code. We talked about modern infrastructures for learning, and we're also going to be having developers and engineers from these organizations. We'll be looking at Lightning. We'll also be looking at MongoDB, Fast API, Chroma, LangChain, DBT, DeepSeek, and many more. There are so many things that we'll be looking at in this edition of the AI Summer of Code. Some of your concerns will be catered for, things like APIs, API keys, many other things that would need to serve as a sort of concern. They are all going to be provided and catered for here at the AI Summer of Code 2.0. Now, we talked about the AI Summer of Code being a global experience. What else do we mean by that? Over 20 international experts, speakers, facilitators will be here at AI Summer of Code 2.0. Some of the persons that you can see on my screen right now, right? You're already familiar with them. One way or the other, you would have been inspired by their journey. You would have been inspired by their innovations, by their creativity and impact in the AI space. Now, not only are you going to be learning from them in the AI Summer of Code, you're also going to get mentorship from some of these guys. We have Serge Massis, Elena, Adebayo, Okpeyemi Fabi, Zion Pivore, Emily, Ridwan, Katpa, Nancy, Chidozie, Gagandip, and many more. Now, we're going to have another session where all of these speakers are going to be properly introduced to you, right? But here's a tip of the iceberg of what we have bringing into the AI Summer of Code. Now, you can see how exciting this is, right? So much preparation to ensure that you get the experience that you desire for this. Now, what do you expect from this program as a participant? First off, we're going to have the onboarding session where you get onboarded into your various tracks. Today is the launch day, and I'm super excited to welcome you all once again. Now, when the onboarding kicks off, you're going to be onboarded into your various tracks. So you to have those dedicated learning. Now, moving away from that, the core focus of this particular program is going to be on sessions and hands-on learning. You get to implement things, you get to attend sessions, and then you also get to make your own implementations. Now, away from that, the program also offers mentorship calls where you get mentorship opportunities or sessions with some of these amazing facilitators that we have listed out. At the end of the day, or at the end of the program, it is expected of you as a participant to be able to showcase what you have learned. Now, in the AI Summer of Code, we are not just building talent. We're not just teaching you through the concept. We want to make sure that you're able to implement and make impact, as well as the facilitators that have been brought on board. We want in the next AI Summer of Code to also have you as a facilitator or workshop instructor, right? So there's going to be demo projects for you to implement all of the concepts that you have learned from the AI Summer of Code sessions, and also show that you can be able to deliver as well. Now, who are the guys behind the AI Summer of Code? Right. So these are the masterminds. These are the amazing guys that have been able to put together all of these concepts to make sure that you have a fantastic experience here at the AI Summer of Code. Now, all of these guys have had lots of sleepless nights. They've had weeks of planning, and now we're able to meet them, right? So you can meet the team. We have the person of Zion Pivore, who is the head of AI and ML or data science at Curriculum. He's also the organizer of the AI Summer of Code. Now, there's also Samuel Kehinde Ayo, who is a senior software and AI engineer, who is also a co-organizer of the AI Summer of Code. Now, we have other persons as well, such as Bukunola, who is a UX designer and researcher. We also have in the person of Samuel Ihagwam, myself, ladies and gentlemen, who is a senior data developer and DBA at Core Technologies. Now we also have Chidozie Managu, who is a senior ML engineer at the Texas A&M University. There's also Precious Osakwe, who is the chief operations officer at Afritech Travels. There's also Nemeka Obiefuna, who is a data scientist at university. Now we can also see there is Victoria Abiboye, who is a marketing specialist and co-founder of Digital Brainers. And then lastly, we have Daniel Akabwe, who is a machine learning engineer at Cocoon. Now you can see all of these amazing industry professionals have been able to put in so much work to ensure that you have an amazing experience at the AI Summer of Code. What more can we say? We want to dive into this experience, right? So if you're ready to immerse yourself into AI development, implementations, and all that, welcome to the AI Summer of Code, where we get to build the future. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for yourself for being a part of this amazing AI community. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in your sessions. Bye.
All right, everyone. So that was an amazing introduction by my boss Samuel Liegwam. All right, so we'll be going into the next section for today's opening conference, and would love to get to know our participants. Um, so this is how we're going to go about it. For those of us joining the live stream on YouTube, I would love that you introduce yourself via text. So we would love to know you, where you're joining us from, and a bit about you too. And for those of us on the Google Meet call, um, we'll be introducing ourselves shortly. So that means that you're going to unmute yourself and then get to tell us your name, where you're joining us from. All right. So while the participants on the YouTube live are introducing themselves via chats, those of us on the Google Meet, if you would love to introduce yourself, please can you signify by waving your hands so then we'll get to introduce you. All right. Um, Kingsley, yes, please, you can go ahead. Introduce your name, your location, that's where you're joining us from, your current occupation, and your AI SOC focus pathway. Yeah, the floor
Okay.
is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kingsley Ibepe. I'm currently based in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm an AI ML engineer. For this AI source more of Code 2.0, I'm focused on the production AI. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Kingsley. I would, I would, I would see you in that particular specialization.
All right.
Um, who else? Yeah, um, yeah. I want to see the ants. I want to see the ants. We want to know you. We want to know everyone. All right. Olajide, Toby, Nello, Emeka, Itoha, Obina. Kingsley has introduced himself. Hope, David. We'd love to hear from you. All right. Yeah, Toby. Yeah, the floor is yours.
Yeah, hi everyone. Please can you confirm you can hear me?
Yes, clear.
Okay, great. My name is Oluwatobi Ojo. I currently work with Flutterwave as a senior data analyst. And I'm interested in I registered for the applied AI track. And just really hoping I get the time to really invest into this. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Toby. Um, who else? So, I think we have someone sending in a text. Yes. Ogirumwa. Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah, Ogirumwa. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me? My name is Antonio Geruma.
Yeah,
I'm a
can
network
hear
system.
you.
I'm a network systems engineer. I'm for the applied AI part, and I'm joining from Northampton, United Kingdom.
Yeah, welcome to AISOC Anthony. Um, it's really I'm really glad to have you at our opening conference. I think I saw, yeah, it's on her.
Hello, good morning. My name is Itwa. I'm resident in the UK. I'm a platform engineer. I registered for the ML track and the applied AI. I also wanted to clarify, for those of us that registered for 2 tracks, are the lectures going to be, I don't know, how is it going to be scheduled? Because if we're in the ML training and the other one is going on, how are we going to juggle it? Or is there a plan to stagger the training?
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
for that, I understand your question. We'll share more information as we go into AISOC. So we'll share more information about that. But be rest assured that you get the full experience of both tracks. Let's have Nello.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chinelo Nweke, and I'm based in Abuja. I'm currently working as a data analyst, and the track I applied for is machine learning and applied AI. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chinelo. Welcome to AISOC. I think I saw Obina start. Yeah, Obina, the floor is yours.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Obina from can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, my name is Obina from I'm based in the UK. I enroll for the ML track. I'm a data engineer. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Obina. Who else? I think we have everyone. Um, all right. So in the absence of no other um participants, I think we would go on a short break and then we'll revert back. Um, okay, I think there's one more person. Yes, Dev Kev, yes. Please go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelvin. This is my second year with AI SOC. I attended the first season, which was a blast. So I'm a senior software engineer with Abuja Electricity Distribution Company. I'm based in Abuja. Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you very much, Kelvin. It was nice to have you at AI SOC Season 2. And I promise you, Season 2 will be better than Season 1. So Season 1 is amazing. Season 2 will be extra amazing. So I think would be going, yeah, so Judin. Yes, please go ahead.
Hi everyone. My name is Titilayo Tajudin. And I registered for the machine learning and the production AI option. Sorry, my voice is like this. I'm in the United States. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Titilayo. I want to officially welcome you to AI SOC Season 2. Do you have any other person? So I can see Caleb joining. Caleb, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello? Hi, everyone. Good day. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, so my name is Caleb Chinga, and I head a digital team at Axelman's here. Glad to be part of, AI Summer of Code 2.0. And I look forward to the interesting, session, interesting, engagements over the course of the of 4 months, as the case may be. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Caleb.
Yeah.
Welcome to AI SOC. And so we do not just have participants on the Google Meet call. We also have participants here physically who would also love to introduce themselves. And we'll do that shortly. So the other is you come, introduce yourself, your name, your location, of course, Lagos, your current occupation, and your AI SOC focus pathway. Yeah. So let's have you first. Yes, come here, come here. Mhm.
Good day, everyone. My name is Martin Mario. I'm a student basically, and my project is machine learning. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Good everyone. So my name is a French student. I travel since 2011. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rubina. Right, we love to have you.
Hello everyone, my name is Mia Dibayo. I'm a data analyst. I recently built an AI powered application and I'm in the ML track.
Thank you very much.
It's not it's not off. Just that okay. This is
Everyone. Um, Marketing session. Especially.
why did you remove it? They could not hear the people speaking against. I'm Christiana. I'm an AI engineer, and yeah, I'm invited to experience the program. Yeah.
Hi everyone. I'm Zion, currently.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Etito. I'm a data scientist and my track is AI and machine learning track.
Thank you very much. Let's have more people.
Hello everyone, I'm Carol Max. I'm a data analyst and visualization associate. I'm on the machine learning track.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Flora Oladipo. I'm a data scientist and AI researcher, and my track is applied AI.
Right. So I would also be introducing our participants from YouTube. So I will just go through some of the introductions. So we have Vision Ode joining from Calabar. We have Wukong joining us from Abakiliki. We have Abdul Samad. He's an AI product manager, and he is on the applied AI track, and is currently based in Ilorin, Nigeria. We also have Valentine Onyebuchi, the data analyst from Abuja, and on the production AI track. So we have George from Benin joining us via the YouTube stream. We have Martins Unduka, who applied to the ML track. We have Khadija joining us from Ilori. She's on the ML Foundations track. And we have Thomas, who is joining us. Some of the introductions via the YouTube stream. And if you want to introduce yourself, you can drop the text via the chat, live chat. So we have George. Yeah, so George is a virtual assistant, and he's based in Benin City, and his track is machine learning track. And we have Aliyah, who is on the applied AI track as well. So these are some of the introductions we have on YouTube. And I want to officially welcome everyone to AI SOC Season 2. It's amazing and wonderful to hear where we are all joining us from. And I assure every one of us that AI SOC is going to be a blast. All right, so without any other introduction, okay. Okay, so that there are some ants. So, do we have any other person on the Google Meet call that wants to introduce themselves? Anyone? Okay, so in the absence of none, we'll be going on a short break, and would reconvene back, and then we continue with the order of the day. Right, so just confirmed now, we'll be going on a 15-minute break. So which means that we'll be reconvening by 12:48 p.m. Nigerian time. And we'll then continue with the activities for the opening conference. So see everyone by 12:48.
Teachers at this primary school in China know exactly when someone isn't paying attention. These headbands measure each student's level of concentration. The information is then directly sent to the tutor or to parents. China has big plans to become a global leader in artificial intelligence. It has enabled a cashless economy where people make purchases with their faces. A giant network of surveillance cameras with facial recognition helps police monitor citizens. Meanwhile, some schools offer glimpses of what the future of high-tech education in the country might look like. Classrooms have robots that analyze students' health
All right, we are back, and I hope we are still pumped up for today's session. So before Dr. Z comes to give his speech, I would be doing a brief bio of our speakers for AI SOC 2025 season 2 as well. All right, so in no particular order, by the way. So I'll be giving a bio for Sage Mrs. Sage Mrs. is a principal AI scientist at Syngenta, a leading agribusiness company with a mission to improve global food security, whether it pertains to leisure activities, plant diseases, or customer lifetime value. Serge is passionate about providing the often missing link between data and decision making. Serge is also the author of Interpretable Machine Learning with Python, now in its second edition. Serge is also working on 2 upcoming titles, a step-by-step artificial intelligence project for makers and hackers, and building responsible AI with Python. Also have Emily Drow. Emily Drow is a co-founder and CTO at Evidently AI, a Y Combinator-backed startup developing AI observability tools to evaluate, test, and monitor the quality of AI systems. Earlier, she co-founded an industrial AI startup and served as the chief data scientist at Yandex Data Factory. She led over 50 applied ML projects into infrastructure. Is a data science lecturer at GSOM, SPBU, and Harbor Space University. She's also a co-author of the Machine Learning and Data Analysis curriculum at Coursera with over 150,000 students. We have on AISOC Season 2, Elena Samuilova. Elena is a CEO and co-founder at Evidently AI. She has been active in the applied machine learning space since 2014. Previously, she co-founded and served as a CPO of an industrial AI startup. She worked with global metal and chemical companies to implement machine learning for production optimization. Prior to that, she led business development at Yandex Data Factory, an enterprise AI division of Yandex. Yelena focused on delivering ML-based solutions to retail, banking, telecom, and other industries. In 2018, Elena was named the top 50 women in product Europe by Product Management Festival. We also have with us Nancy Amandi. Nancy is a data engineer at the Modern Point Group. She began her career as a data analyst and quickly made a name for herself in the Nigerian data industry through her insightful articles and impressive performances in hackathons, where she often emerged as the winner. Her passion for community involvement led her to actively participate in various data communities, including the data engineering community and the young data professionals. In these groups, she not only assisted fellow professionals with technical challenges, but she helped stimulate some important discussions by asking insightful questions. A significant contributions were recognized when she received the Fast Rising Star Award from the YDP community. Outside of work, Nancy enjoys watching horror and thriller K-dramas, sci-fi movies, or reading data-related books. We also have with us Gangandip Singh. Gangandip is a seasoned full-stack engineer and AI solutions architect, bringing over a decade of experience architecting scalable systems across cloud and front-end stacks. With specialization in Django, React, AWS, and Gen AI, Gangandip is driven by a passion for innovation. It builds solutions that merge tried and true practices with forward-thinking AI technologies to deliver transformative results. We have with us Temitayo Adejuigbe. Temitayo is an experienced ML engineer specializing in developing innovative digital solutions across various sectors. As a former data scientist at Noipulse, he led the development and deployment of custom machine learning solutions to address key challenges in the health sector. Currently, he is a senior data scientist and ML engineer where he designs and implements advanced AI systems and intelligence applications. His work focuses on infusing intelligent systems into customer-facing products to drive business value and innovation. Mitayo is also known for his ability to translate complex data into insights and generate new knowledge for decision making, making him an effective engineer and data science advocate. We have with us Kodri. Abdul Kodri is a senior data engineer with expertise in handling complex data sets. Experience also covers working as an engineer, where he built ML pipelines and applied NLP techniques to create innovative solutions. Kodri is a passionate engineer, and he's also passionate about continuous learning and old certification in Azure and Dialogflow. We have with us Naimeka Obiefuna, who is a machine learning research engineer and an independent researcher with Mascane and ML Collective. His work focuses on privacy, preserving ML, federated learning, and multilingual NLP for under-resourced African languages. He co-developed AfriComet, a state-of-the-art evaluation metric for African machine translation. Beyond language technologies, Emeka is also exploring neuro AI, particularly the intersection of ML and neurosciences. Inspired by the idea of decoding brain activity into speech, is drawn to a non-intrusive approach for analyzing neural patterns with the long-term goal of enhancing communication for individuals with cognitive and speech impairments. Then we also have with us Daniel, that's my humble self, the cloud solutions architect with hands-on experience in building AI-driven solutions across diverse domains, building data science, machine learning, and generative AI solutions. Daniel has led and contributed to impactful projects across a range of industries, such as fintech, edtech, assistive technology, health tech, and supply chain technology, consistently delivering solutions that address real world challenges. As a community champion at DXN, Daniel has won multiple data science and AI hackathons and has led AI communities in Nigeria. He's also a technical writer, sharing insights and expertise through articles published in leading online platforms in the DX and AI space. In his spare time, Daniel enjoys reading. I also enjoy reviewing research papers as well as feeling stress. Meaningful societal impact that fosters socio-economic development. We have with us Adebayo Oshigbeson, who is an AI and ML who has led several integration of data-driven technological solutions for companies. Adebayo has worked on the integration of technology across a variety of industries, including energy, healthcare, education, finance, red tech, and legal tech. Some of his recent endeavors have included analyzing multi-morbidity in African space. Sorry about that, in African populations in Kenya, South Africa, and Burkina Faso, in order to equip policymakers with data-driven insights, building AI-driven workflows and agents for complex domains such as finance, legal, and enhancing the tracking and compliance of regulations across 150 plus countries for multinational companies, such as global tier one banks. With experience ranging from working in multinational organizations, such as IBM, to scale-ups, startups, and NGOs, Adebayo seeks to identify critical challenges and deploy tailored technological solutions that drive efficiency and growth. At the core of Adebayo's current work is minimizing the friction around the integration of classical ML technologies and techniques and generative AI into the fabric of business operations to enhance processes and outcomes via intuitive human AI verification, loops, and interfaces. We have with us Samuel Kende Ayo. Samuel is an experienced senior AI and ML engineer and data scientist with deep expertise in enterprise scale machine learning and AI, causal modeling, and intelligent systems design and implementation. Sam Ayo brings a multidisciplinary approach, data science, and just harness AI and data for decision making. He has led high impact AI initiatives across sectors like energy, retail, media, fintech, insurance, and IoT, designing systems and technical intelligence, engineering, engineering depth, and strategic clarity. The agent AI architecture, especially in mission critical applications where precision and adaptability are non-negotiable. We can all see that we have an amazing lineup for AI SOC Season 2. There's still more, like Samuel Yagwa mentioned earlier in the session. Our expert lineup have a depth of experience in the AI and data science space. So you should rest assured that you'll be learning from the best. All right, so more from our expert lineup. Okay, give me a minute. All right, so we have with us again Abdul Qadri Oshware. Abdul Qadri is a senior data engineer with expertise in handling complex data sets building data and ML pipelines, and extracting data and predictive insights. His experience also covers working as an AI engineer, where he built ML pipelines and advanced NLP techniques to create innovative solutions. He's passionate about continuous learning and holds certification in Azure and Dialogflow. Quadri's workshop sessions at AI SOC last year were rich and profound, taking the community on a rigorous ride into data engineering for LLM applications. This year, he's returning with fresher insights on best practices for approaching data engineering to build scalable AI systems. Um, so do not miss any of the sessions for those of us that are on the specialized tracks. Do not miss any of the sessions. You get to draw from the depth of experience and insights from our amazing speakers. So I think that's all for now. Let me see. Okay, I think we also have Chidozie Managu. Chidozie is an award-winning and globally recognized digital technology leader, honored as a global tech hero for contributions to AI, innovation, and community development. His career has been defined by a dual passion, which are architecting sophisticated end-to-end software products and fostering the growth of emerging tech talent. He has a proven track record of leading product development in corporate settings, contributing to cutting-edge AI research at institutions like Texas A&M University, and spearheading founder-led initiatives like the AI SOC and Talent Act, a platform showcasing his ability to consistently bridge vision and the hands-on execution. So these are um, some of the profiles of our amazing speakers lineup, and we'll get to know them as the workshop starts and the classes starts. So thank you, everyone. So we'll be going on a break for 5 minutes, and then we'll have Zach speak to us. So thank you, everyone.
No, sweet.
Hello, everyone. I trust you're doing good. So, in the next couple of minutes, we'll be hearing from Pivore, and he's going to be giving us the keynote address. So, kindly exercise some patience, and we'll get started shortly. Thank you very much.
We are live. Please, if you can hear me, kindly confirm that you can hear me. Great, perfect. We have, okay, is the volume okay? Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in our opening session. I would be very briefly and quickly going over this interesting topic, building a resilient AI future. Building a resilient AI future. They must be wondering, what are we talking about? Why are we talking about resilient AI future at AI Summer of Code? We're not here to write code and all of that. But of course, we would also recall that the theme for AI SOC Season 2 is build the future, right? So in this address, I'll be walking us through some very interesting points in just about 5 slides. I don't have too much to really talk about here. However, the first slides will probably take as much as 40 minutes. I want to give a very quick intro about this topic. I would mention that in the last couple of days, I've been having cold, right? Cold and catarrh. So this is not my voice. So for those of us that know me, you will know that my voice is sounding very under this period. And it was almost as though I was going to fall ill, and in the midst of the preparation for summer and all that. However, sometimes you have to sit down and advise yourself that if I fall ill now, right, or if I don't pull myself together, there are going to be gaps, right? I have to find a way to show up. I have to build resilience to show up, even in the midst of chaos or in the midst of limitations or in the midst of different things that will kind of pull you back. So something very interesting that happens in the African space, especially when it comes to technology development, and maybe in underserved countries around the world, whether it is the Southern America or the Asias and the likes, right? It's easy to think that the top continents of countries like the US, the EU, and China, they have overtaken you, so there's nothing to do anymore. Very easy to think that way. However, one thing that we must understand is that you have to do all it takes to participate in solving key and important problems in any environment you find, and not just lose hope that these guys have left you behind, so there's nothing else to do. There's still a lot of problems and a lot of different local contexts to address. They may not look glamorous, but they are very, very important. And so I said all this to kind of drive home the essence of this topic, building a resilient AI future. And so when we're talking about resilient AI future, it's not just for those in the Americas, for those in the big tech, or for those in the top governments driving policy and regulation, right? But you can play a very key role in these implementations. And I do hope that in this presentation, for the next 5 slides or before that you would have a little bit of motivation, right, about the interesting ways that you can come in, and we solve problems, we build the future, pretty much. So I want everyone here back 5 years from now. I want you to look back and be happy that you took certain steps and that you were proactive, you showed up, you did all it took to grow your career, to key into interesting opportunities, and not to be lent on pursuing the opportunities, whether it's locally or globally, right? Doing everything to be a part of the revolution that we find ourselves in right now. So much for an intro. My name is Zion Giveaway. I'm the head of data science and AI curriculum. To be honest, I didn't feel like writing a lot of about on this right side of the slide. I build AI systems and data products. Right? I've been doing machine learning for, I would say, 13, 14 years, back as an undergrad. And remember back in 2013, leading my team from university in a global physics competition, right? And it was about solving physics problems with data science. And the interesting problem with that year, I think I remember correctly, was about modeling planetary orbits around binary star systems. So just to give you a bit of background, the solar system is just one star, and then the 7, 8 planets, right? So imagine a 2-star system. So you have 2 suns, right? So the gravitational effect of the suns. The question was, how would you model planetary movement around those 2 suns, right? So it's a data science problem. And it was a very interesting way to really apply some of the machine learning and optimization that I've been reading about and studying about that period. So it was like one of the first key exposure to solving practical problems in science. And then, of course, that turned out to be like the foundation for many other interests that I began to develop afterwards. So yeah, it's been like going back that long. Of course, after university, I still tinkered around other areas, other kinds of industries. But eventually, it was just data science and ML and AI. We now have it today. So, of course, in the last 2 to 3 years, there's been a lot of noise and focus on generative AI, large language models, and I've also been at the forefront of implementing, generative AI solutions for organizations. But to be honest, it's not the thing that tickles my fancy the most, right? I still like using around traditional ML, so you still find me every day around traditional ML. You still find me every day around, things that may not sound so fancy in this day and age. Everybody that wants to do LLM. Now, this is not to jab or say anything against those who have gone into the LLM engineering track, right? Because again, it's still one of the most impactful and proactive areas, for being honest. And you will see it in my slides. I will show you guys one of the things that one of the interesting initiatives that have played a major role in the last 1 year. All right, so I guess there's so much about me. You can read up more on LinkedIn. If I keep talking, I will not skip this slide, so I'll just move on. So to kind of motivate this topic, right, I would start with some interesting statistics. Personally, I'm not a fan of big talk around statistics and throwing figures, talking about, the McKinsey report about 40% projection, blah, 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 blah. I'm honestly not always that interested in most of those estimations because they are often wrong. Sometimes they miss the mark, sometimes they get it, right? And sometimes all these things lead to FOMO and people, like jumping into hype cycles and the likes. So, however, these particular stats on this slide are still pretty much interesting, which is why I still want to talk about them. So, there's been like so many projections about AI and generative AI in particular. So we have 40% CAGR, continuous annual growth rate, from 2020 to 2026. So growth rate in terms of AI implementation and adoption and production use cases globally, 40% on the rise. Does that make sense? So there's also been like $13.8 billion enterprise spending that was measured last year. So we are talking about $13.8 billion in annual spending on on AI. And when I say more spend, I'm talking of spend on tools like ChatGPT or enterprise AI tools and solutions, not even spend on building an infrastructure and like doing the foundation work of building models, right? Then $20 billion startup funding. So $20 billion flew last year into startups. So if any of you now decide that you want to launch your startup after AI summer of code, right? You'll be, you find yourself in the number among these, big monies are being thrown around. And trust me, even the most useless solutions I've seen in AI, I'm getting funded. I'm like, really? Like this is somebody actually funded this with like $10 million. What are you thinking? But it's the hype cycle. Investors want to miss out. So there's FOMO among investors, whether it is VC, whether it is private equity, and all of these guys. Angel investors as well. They feel like, Daniel, you look like you're going to blow in the next 3 years. I'm going to put $1 million into your startup. So that in the next 3 years, when you return $100 million, you know what that means. I'll cash out. But this is just where we find ourselves. And to be very honest, startups are getting funded in AI, right? If you talk about you're building an MLOps platform, investors will yawn at you. They will just yawn at you. But if you tell them you're building an LLM ops platform, you will get funding. So most MLOps platforms of 2020s, 2021, 22, they are all now rebranding to LLM ops because they need to get part of the money, right? So everybody needs a piece of the cake, right? So it's about positioning really. Now I'm bringing these motivations. Remember, we're talking about building a resilient AI future. These motivations are not going to start calculating how you are going to jump on the bandwagon of looking for startup funding. But it's about how you are going to position yourself to solve actual impactful problems in the midst of all the noise that are out there. There's actually a lot of noise in the AI space currently. There's a wide margin between AI hype and the reality. We have to establish that. Does that make sense? All right. So when we're talking about building a resilient, I've just highlighted like 4 people, right? This list is not exhaustive. So just take it as my own bias as to my thinking around pillars of building a resilient AI future. And it's a very critical impact between technology, processes, systems, right? Government, regulation, all of those things. On the technology side, and this is just the only slide I have for these pillars, the only slide I have. I don't have like more slides for this. On the technology side, this is a pillar, of course. So we're talking about building a resilient AI future. Technology needs to play a key role here because we want to build like systems that actually work and systems that in the hands of the daily user solves problems, right? So remember that generally technology is like the application of science to solve like everyday problems, all right? So if it's not solving an everyday problem or common one, it's probably not technology, it's just something fancy. And that's why when we build products, right, one of the things that we tend to learn about when you actually develop products is that you have to develop from the perspective of the user or the end user. So who are you building this for? Because at the end of the day, that technology is going into someone's hands and that should be utilized by someone, right? So technology is a key. Now, when we are thinking about technology, right, I think it's very important also to think about impactful use cases and applications of technology, and not just technology for the sake of technology. And that's, I think, the mistake that a lot of people make. They just build. I've had people approach me with fancy POCs, talking about, oh, we are building this, we are building that, we are building that. And I see them, and to me, it feels as though it is solutions looking for problems, right? As opposed to solutions that are addressing already established problems. So when you're building technology or you're building applications, technological applications, think through the lens of problem solving, actual problem solving. And you see this issue I've highlighted here about solution to problems. It has now been proliferated with the rise of LLMs. Because now everybody just feels like they can go to ChatGPT and vibe code an application, right? And you just come on Twitter, the algorithm blows it because obviously the algorithm is inclined to blow things like that. And so at the end of the day, a lot of regurgitation of noise and hype. What everybody now can build is good, but there's the disadvantage of not taking care to actually solve problems. Problem solving, unfortunately, and currently cannot be automated entirely by a large language model or a generative model. You still have to use your brain. If you want to solve especially the impactful problems, if you are looking for small problems that are like generic and whatnot, yes, your language models will come in handy for that, right? But if you're talking about very complex problems that require human ingenuity and creativity, right? The models are still not there. Maybe they will get there. They have like the biggest AI companies now hyping the fact that when there's GPT-7, we'll be able to have, systems that are like that, humans would just not bother competing with them. Maybe, I guess we'll find out. But for now, it's important to understand that the models are still not there yet. So sit down, calm down, think, use your brain. You still have a very big computer in your head. It's called your brain. Use it, right? I can promise you, you will not regret it, right? I will give you a very practical example. Okay, I will get to that part of my slide. But in my team today, right, there's some certain kinds of problems that we solve that we actually have to sit down and think thoroughly through the lens of how do we actually solve this problem from first principle? Because there's sometimes we are facing problems that there's no available template out there. And it has to be solved. Problem has to be solved. And then we realize that, wait a minute, my brain is actually working. I can actually use my brain. So with the rise of generative models, let's use these tools as assistants, like your PA. Tell your PA to bring all the different tools that you need, right? And they assist you, but you don't outsource your work entirely to your PA. All right. I've seen, of course, executives who have like executive assistants, and then their PA is one doing everything. Guess what? There might be loopholes and mistakes. When that happens, aka hallucination, when that happens, right, the executive will start blaming the PA. You understand? Because you outsource the entirety of you didn't even bother supervise them, even if you were going to, delegate all the responsibilities to the PA, you should at least supervise and ensure that the person is doing what they are supposed to do, right? So in the same way, we see humans delegating everything entirely to LLM and are not even supervising the process. And so we then have, gaps and loopholes everywhere. So this is something that is very important. I want to really, really highlight. Use your brain, right? If you're going to build a resilient AI future or contribute to the future of impactful AI solutions that solve key and interesting problems and impactful problems, use your brain, right? Talk to people. We all talk to models now and forget to talk to people, but talk to people, right? There are a lot of smart people that are out there. Like, I can guarantee you there's a lot of business wisdom and technological wisdom and scientific wisdom that is not yet out there in the general public models to train on. I don't know if any of you guys, anyone here has actually sat down and had a talk with like executives, like senior executives or like business people, managers, top people that are in their 50s. I'm not talking of like a generation of millennials, 30s or 40s, early 40s people. I'm talking of the generation before us millennials. Has anyone actually sat down? Have you guys sat down and actually had a talk with them? You cannot get those wisdom from LLM, right? You can't get it. Why? Because these are, I like to call these things secret wisdom. They are the kind of wisdom that you only get through access and through the opportunity of sitting down with key people and actually talking, right? Seek those opportunities. Anytime you have opportunity to have conversations with people who are far ahead, right? Don't take it for granted. You will not get that kind of wisdom with language models. That's very important, and I need to highlight that, right? So ensure that you're talking to people, not just to models, right? There's a lot of the totality of human ingenuity and wisdom right now has not been fully captured into training data sets for language models, right? And in fact, all the language models now seem to be training from similar data sets because you have all sound the same. Yeah. Which is kind of understandable considering that you have companies like Scale AI that actually provides training data set for most of these big companies, right? You have Scale AI is like a data set provider to most of the biggest players in AI. So if Scale AI is giving data sets to ChatGPT, they're also giving data sets to Google. They're giving to Anthropic. And tell me why the models are not the same. It's not because the models are learning from each other, or it's not because the models are being trained on the output of another popular model. No, because that's like the myth that applies around. And maybe Gemini trained on the output of OpenAI. No, right? They all utilize the same data sets, right? Or similar data sets have been prepared because these companies don't have that bandwidth in time to really sit down and prepare the data set. It requires years to do. And companies like Scale AI have invested those number of years to actually build the data sets that are required to train models and systems and AI systems, right? So the totality of human ingenuity has not been fully captured by language models. That's very important, right? So let us take note of that. The second thing I want to take note of, I want to point out as a key pillar is talent. I spent too much time on technology, or just briefly the rest. Talent. Understand that we need people when it comes to building systems. So develop talent, right? Become a highly talented engineer or scientist or researcher, whichever way you choose to focus on. Make up your mind to be a talented practitioner in that field, right? Try to picture yourself that you can actually be the best or among the best. Even if you don't end up being like number one, at least be numbered among this or top that or top that, right? It's a good motive to pursue, right? And for for the more senior people who are probably leading teams, I know they have like a lot of senior people in AI, some of who are like team leaders and even managers, right? Seek to invest in talent, invest in your team members, invest in your team members. I see people saying that, oh, they don't have time to mentor juniors anymore. So everybody's like, senior engineers are like, they don't want to mentor junior engineers. So the junior engineers should rely on AI systems. But guess what? These junior engineers are relying on AI systems. Are not being hired by organizations, because organizations now are looking for senior engineers, right? Organizations feel like they want to use AI to replace junior engineers. And so they will just want to have like one or two senior engineers doing one particular, doing a specific, handling a specific problem or business really, as the case may be. So they don't want to hire juniors anymore, right? So what does that mean? You have to position yourself as, if you're a junior engineer, you have to position yourself as a junior that actually stands out. And I can guarantee you it's not impossible, right? It's not impossible, but you just have to stand out. And you cannot stand out by relying on ChatGPT or LLM. You cannot LLM your way into senior level in this tech space, and particularly in AI. You cannot. You have to really sit down. And that's why AI summer of code is very important, because one of the things we want to do is that we want to take our time. In 4 months, we want to take our time to help you really build thorough and robust skills in your pathway, right? Everyone who takes the ML track, for example, should be able to finish that track and confidently say that I am an ML engineer. You will sit down in interviews and you should be able to go through those interviews. The only refresher that you need for preparing for your interview probably just going to be AI small code material. You should finish a production AI track and go back to your organization and be able to implement production grade AI systems. So your organization doesn't need to say, oh, they want to not hire or don't want to outsource the project. Pick it up. You get your promotion. You're a senior engineer in your organization, you become a team lead or a tech lead or a manager. Now you know what it takes to really build these things. That's really the goal. One of the things we want to achieve. We want to ensure that every participant and every member of the community can grow their skill to the level where they become confident. There's one thing to understand something, another thing to be confident in that thing, right? Some of you may know a particular topic, but I call you out now to talk. You may not show that authority because it's possible you start having this imposter syndrome of what if I missay this, or what if I miss it? How will people react, or will they judge me? So confidence is one of the things I want everyone to build, right? So talent is very important. Build talent, build talent, build talent. If you're a senior, if you're a senior in the field, invest in junior talent. Please, I cannot emphasize this enough. Invest in junior talent. Ethics is also a very key pillar of building a resilient field. You need to think responsibly, you need to think ethically, right? About building systems. For those of us who build in the financial services space, I think you understand this a lot. There are some things that you cannot do, even if it is nice and fancy and interesting, right? So, like, there are some ML solutions that you cannot build, but even if you must build them, you have to think about it from a high risk lens. So, how do we mitigate the risk? How do we mitigate biases and things like that, right? So, think from an ethical standpoint, think compliance, think regulatory frameworks, right? And the good thing in Africa is that we don't yet have, so much from the lens of the government, so much focus yet on regulatory, like on training the regulatory environment for AI systems, right? So yes, there's good and bad side of it. The good side of it is that you have like autonomy to build as many things as you want to do. The bad side of it is that you can go rogue. So don't go rogue. Think from a lens of responsible design and implementation, right? And then of course sustainability. Build solutions that solve. I've highlighted this before under technology. Build solutions that solve key problems in key problems across the sectors that are very, very important, that actually impact people, right? There are some things there are some ideas I've had in the past that when I think about it, I ask myself, how many daily or average people does this thing really help? And I advise myself that no, this one is not for, this one is probably just not for now. Because it doesn't really scale to like keep people who have needs. People have cancer. People are battling with cancer every day. We have not solved their problems. People are battling with, with deadly diseases, right? People are battling with different, neurodivergent diseases. What did they call it? But we've not solved those problems, right? So now we're not here talking about build one model that can look at somebody's face and impose another person's face and come on, don't do that. For a learning experience or for a way to learn how to build this, yes. But when you are ready to solve impactful problems, please pick out very, very interesting and impactful problems. I'll give a case in point. The work that work from my team at Curriculum on precision oncology. So for context, precision oncology is about, first of all, oncology is the study of cancer, right? So with the study of cancer treatments, therapies, and all those things. And so when we talk about precision oncology, we are talking about using precision medical techniques, right? Kind of technologies and instruments that you use to precisely target cancer cells in order to be able to either to limit the growth of a particular tumor or to provide targeted therapies or treatment. So when I say AI precision oncology is now how I'm bringing AI to this precision implementation. So I know a couple of persons probably on this call I've seen some of the efforts that we've done around this, because I know we did some publications earlier in the year. But I just wanted to highlight, just to portray the notion of building or targeting impactful problems if you really want to build a resilient AI field, right? So first of all, this particular project is interdisciplinary in nature, right? So it was research that we embarked on that that cut across molecular biology, genetic oncology, pharmacogenomics, and deep learning. Molecular biology in the sense that we're talking about like biomolecules, so your genome, your proteins, DNA and RNA, right? You would get to understand, like we see, why, what does DNA and RNA like have to do with this whole thing. Then genetic oncology is about, the genetic aspects of oncology. So looking at cancer from the lens of the genes, the cancer-causing genes, or the genes that get mutated that lead to cancer. Then we have pharmacogenomics. Pharmaco from pharmacology, so we're talking about drugs here, and genomics, so which means that drug design and implementation that is tailored to specific genes or specific genomic profiles of patients, right? And then we have deep learning. Of course, deep learning is the aspect of machine learning that involves covering deep representations from data sets, right? It's able to learn representations by looking into multiple layers. So because of the number of layers that we have in deep neural networks, we say it's deep, right? But deep doesn't have an end. So thinking a network can be deep and just have 20 networks. 20 layers. Sometimes deep means 1,000 layers. And of course, in these days of large language models, we have like thousands to millions of layers. So this was kind of an interdisciplinary research that kind of measured these different fields. And we're particularly interested in uncovering, how genetic mutations lead to cancer. Because again, what's the impactful problem here? Oncology. We want to actually solve or look at how we can contribute to the solutions of cancer care, right? And so we're interested in how, what are the underlying things that lead to, cancer generation, right? And so we began our studies looking into research across these three areas: molecular biology, genetic oncology, pharmacogenomics, and seeing how much deep learning models can actually learn from some of this research, and also look at profiles and see how much insight to cover from that, right? We ran lots of multi-phase AI experiments for this project, and of course, still an ongoing project. It's not like it's done. It's a large-scale R&D effort. We use open source language models, so that involves fine-tuning some language models, small language models, like 1 billion parameter models, and of course, larger models like up to 70 billion parameter model. We also did some sort of retrieval meta generation, which, if you're hearing this for the first time, don't worry, we are going to cover retrieval of meta generation in the course of AI Summer School. Then, of course, we also rely heavily on embedding model. We have embedding models that are like specific embedding models on genomic and proteomic data. So all that here, genomic and proteomic embedding models. These are models that learn like semantic structure of DNA and proteins. Because DNA, for example, is the language of life. So anyone who is in biology or in the medical field kind of knows this sentence. That DNAs are like the language of life. So DNA actually encodes information for the structure and function of your entire biological, your entire biological system, right? And when we talk about embedding models, generally from machine learning, we're talking about models that are able to understand, relationships between key parts of data, right? And are able to like capture numerical representations of those data points and those data sets. Then we have, of course, programming algorithms. Now we looked critically into protein sequences. Let me go to the next slide, because we're interested in understanding, how, like, what exactly causes mutation. First of all, what causes genetic mutation? The mutation is a gene suddenly changing, the function being altered. And when your gene changes, right, or your DNA changes, right, it affects a lot of other functions, like proteins. Proteins are very important to your function or the function of cells. So if your DNA is changing, or your DNA is encoding a protein, or your DNA is altering something in your cells, it's going to affect the proteins. So the first thing we're interested in is, how can we understand protein structures and determine if a protein structure has changed from what it originally is? we found that there's already an existing result for this. So it makes our work easy. We need to like review the review. So there's luckily something from Google DeepMind, which has been around for about 6 years, but I think maybe 4 or 5 years. And then their third version of AlphaFold became became like the award-winning model because DeepMind got the Nobel Prize in chemistry for that particular model and discovery. They discovered with protein structures from protein sequences. Protein sequences are just a bunch of letters, like a DNA encode to create a protein, right? Just a bunch of letters. So given the letters, we actually predict the three-dimensional structure. So if you look at my slide here, you would see. I want to play this. I actually want to play this for you guys to see. It's a GIF. It's not a static image. For some reason, I cannot play. So, proteins have three-dimensional structure, and AlphaFold uncovered how to predict the exact three-dimensional structure, right, to a very high degree of accuracy, including like how it folds. You look at these proteins that I have on my screen here, you see that it's a folded structure. And if anything alters the protein, it will reflect in the structure. The structure will change. It will either unfold or fold into a new structure. Once that happens, the next thing that's going to happen is that the function of that protein is going to change. It is that delicate. That's for you to understand how delicate your entire biological system is. Your biological system is a work of art. It's not an accident. I'm sorry if I say it. If I die on this hill, so be it. Right? The entire biological system is not an accident. It's not. You didn't just come out of nowhere, right? But let me move on. So when the structure of the proteins change, right, the function also changes. When the function changes, that change could be driving cancer generation, right? It could be driving tumor growth. So we're trying to understand the first principles, starting with protein structure. How does how does alterations in the DNA alter this protein structure? And when the protein structure is altered, how is the protein structure altered? Then the next we wanted to understand is the exact impact of the genetic mutation, right, on these structure and function, so that we know whether we are having like change that are driving cancer generation. But there's already cancer driving progression of cancer, right? Why? Because we're looking at how to build solutions that can aid cancer care and targeted therapy, right? And that's what we're talking about. If you can understand all these things, then we can build algorithms that can, sort of limit the growth of tumors, that can potentially reduce the growth of tumors. If you are the cancer, can we just turn it down at that point? Can we uncover therapies, right? Targeted therapy that fit your genomic profile and can slow down the growth of these tumors. So we're thinking through the principles. Now, unlike general approach where someone will just come here and they will throw AI or large language models into this because they want to solve a complex problem, it's important to think through the lens of the advancements that are in this field, right? Before you throw AI into them. If you want to solve AI or you want to introduce AI into physics, for example, you don't know physics. So it's not enough to just think that because it is a large language model, it will be able to understand the the different mechanisms in the physical process and exactly model that and replicate that. You have to work with the available body of knowledge for that particular problem. So in solving this problem, we collaborated with researchers, collaborated with medical practitioners, we collaborated with chemists, bioinformatics specialists, right? And even cancer care centers as well. Right? Because we wanted to see how we could deeply understand the nuances of these different interdisciplinary fields and see where AI can play a role in, pushing out solutions. So this is a very interesting case study that I think is necessary to highlight. We also think through the lens of not only targeting impactful problems, but ensuring that you take your time to understand the problem, not just throw models at the problem, just because you want to solve an impactful problem. Understand the problem, right? Work with practitioners in the field. You understand? Now, there are times when I don't know if you're a tech person, right? I wonder if you have had the experience where you just go to meet someone in a particular niche and you're talking technology to them and they're not really interested. It's not because your solution or your proposition is not useful to them, right? However, they're not meeting them at the point of their need. So what they feel what you're saying is not relevant to them. But you realize that when you switch the conversation and you go through the approach of what their actual pain point is, you're actually able to come to that common point where you can then introduce your own ideas. And then they find it like, wow, that's interesting. This is good. How can we go about this? It's a better way. You have to think through the lens of the user, or the lens of the affected, or the lens of the practitioner, right? Work with the practitioners, work with people in that area, study about it. I remember when we were doing this, I cannot count how many papers I read about cancer. Even papers are not related to ML or models that are being trained for this. I was reading articles, I was reading research papers, and I was asking questions. I would sit with our researchers, our biomedical researchers, and I'll be asking them questions. Can you explain what really happens when it is trying to encode information in an RNA, complete changes, and understand specific things? It's not because I'm going to contribute to a specific thing. My contribution is on already development for that specific area, but I need to understand the mechanics. Does it make sense? So that's very important. And when we do all of these things, right, you find out that you are making impacts little by little, step by step. You are pushing yourself, pushing your limits. You are making contributions, on key problems. And over time, look at like the history of people have done in the interest, right? Sometimes I look at even the things that I've been able to achieve in just 2 or 3 years of generative AI wave. And I'm usually happy with myself because it wasn't just about jumping on the bandwagon of want to release this or push that fancy API or product or whatever. So we're targeting problems that are actually useful, that are solving, things that affect people on a daily basis. Does that make sense? So I think that brings me to the end of my presentation. I would just like to take questions, like maybe 5 minutes, very quickly if anyone has a question. And by the way, is a keynote address supposed to have Q&A? Okay. So please let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll just drop them and I'll take them very quickly. Okay, go ahead with your question, please. It's all right, you can go ahead with your question.
Hi, good morning. Good afternoon. Thank you, Zion. That was very insightful. Well done. So I'm a platform engineer and I have let's say limited understanding of ML and AI. I'm very interested in that path. It's been a very confusing last 3 years for me because my first introduction to machine learning and the whole AI space was 3 years ago, but I didn't continue with it because of work. But now I'm interested in it 100%. Is there an intersection between cloud platform engineering and AI, ML? Like as a platform engineer, how can I successfully apply this knowledge okay, how can I successfully apply this knowledge into platform engineering if I don't want to switch 100% into ML? But if I decide to switch into ML for my current job or for my current work I'm doing, what would be the best route? I know I applied for ML and applied AI route, but I'm just now noticing that there's an ML foundations. So is it best to do ML foundations and then ML engineering if I decide to pivot straight into ML without having to consider my cloud background? Is it best to pivot into it through going through ML foundations first and then ML engineering? Or if I decide to keep my platform engineering background, I want to build more on it, would it be best to just do ML engineering and applied AI? Basically, I hope I'm not confusing you with my question, because I'm literally all over the place right now. I'm very confused as to how I can, marry my current experience with AI and machine learning. Basically, I just need a little bit of I just need your thoughts on it, how I can explore this field as a platform engineer, or or should I just shank what I know already and go into this head on 100%? Yeah, I'm done with my question.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm back on this particular general. I'll stop sharing my own screen and stop talking from my laptop. So I'm just back on this general one in the venue here. Okay, so if I get it correctly, you're a platform engineer. You have like significant experience as a platform engineer. You kind of broke into ML sometime, some years back, or you didn't continue or progress further, right? So now you want to sort of start again with ML, but the end goal is to converge everything in, like, along with platform engineering. So it's like you want to bring in that ML flavor into platform engineering. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So which most likely means that, because a platform engineer, you're building platforms, whether it's cloud platforms, you're building like infrastructure for for AI products or data products or machine learning products, or maybe before you're just building platforms for software products. But now in the age of AI, obviously you are dealing with ML products, AI systems, and understanding of ML is very key. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I think your concern is very valid about what path can you forge for yourself from ML that would kind of lead you into platform engineering. I would say that the ML track in general is like already a very good setup for you in that regard, because it allows you to understand an AI system from the lens of the models and the data sets. For example, we AI engineers and ML engineers, we always say something, we always try to highlight or iterate something that it is so software engineers sometimes like when they're dealing with AI systems, they need to sort of change their thinking and their approach from how they deploy software systems from how they would deploy AI systems, because in AI systems or machine learning systems, they're not just dealing with code, they're dealing with data, you're dealing with artifacts. Those artifacts may be like very, very specific features and also models, right? So you're dealing with all these three kind of three categories of things that need to be managed carefully in production. So understanding like things from the ML lens is very key. Of course, it doesn't mean every software engineer has to understand ML to be able to be successful in building, or should I say in managing production AI systems or platforms for AI. However, the way I hear your question is that you want to excel in AI and ML platform engineering, right? Particularly for AI or AI-powered or ML-powered products. So I think I would say you're on the right track. The foundations and the engineering flavors of the ML track, they are not like two different tracks really. It's the same track. And when we're arranging that topic or that track, realize that it will probably be an overkill if we listed everything together, because it's going to be a lot of topics, right? But we want to cover them within ML because we want it to be a self-contained pathway. So what we did is that we understood that there are people who are already data scientists or who have worked with models, right? But need to further their skill, especially in ML engineering, because there are some data scientists that have built models, but they don't really understand how to deploy models, or don't really understand some more technical nuances around building something that is ready for the real world, right? But sometimes, you know, they've just maybe just done models that just do like very simple predictions and whatnot. They already understand how to like the foundational aspect of building those models, you know, iterating over data, iterating over training experiments. So obviously for such people, right, we need to have a focus for them. But the foundation topic will just be there as a refresher, or if you need to bounce back to like, you know, something, you know, a foundational topic really. So for those who already have like a background already in ML, the engineering topics will be their focus. We just outlined it that way so that we kind of help you or guide you into having a focus from the beginning, so that you don't have to be the one to choose your areas of focus. However, for the ML foundations, it is ideal for someone who is kind of new or not very vast in ML fundamentals, which is still a means to an end, because we don't want you to just stop at the ML foundations. We want you to become very good in the ML engineering as well, right? And so if you see that the experience or the background you already had in previous years, number one, you cannot remember like key assumptions of building models or key assumptions of using algorithms. You cannot even remember what it means to draw cross-validation or even evaluation metrics or things like that. Then you probably need to come back to foundations, just so that you can build momentum for ML engineering, right? So I would say take it step by step, right? So you can start from foundations and then build it from there. Obviously, we will not rush you and expect you to complete both ML foundations and ML engineering at once. But you have 4 months, right? So you could spread your learning. Your 7 weeks can focus on foundations, after which, while working on projects, you continue to consume what do you call it? The engineering topics. And you're in the dedicated group. So you have me, you have, you know, some of the mentors and faculty, you have us to, you know, guide you and assist you and support you, right? So I would say that really you have like 4 months to really dedicate on this, but take it step by step. No rushing or anything. The applied AI is kind of spot on. It is quite logical to really do applied AI for you know, for you being a platform engineer, right? So the applied AI is in a way to introduce you to like how do you build an LLM application, a RAG application, or an agentic system, right? If you already have experience in the applied AI or in topics in the applied AI, then most likely, you know, the production AI track is for you. So the production AI track assumes some already available technical experience in any of the other tracks, right? And especially if you are you know, a software developer or a platform engineer in your case. However, I think the applied AI is a good start, especially for getting to understand the flavor of building LLM applications and seeing it actually work, right? It doesn't take you as far as understanding how you train the models, because that is now going to be the LLM engineering track. But it is like probably the best resource out there, right? That kind of helps you build from scratch, takes you from scratch on how to build an AI application, an LLM application that actually works when you now do all the things around evaluation, implement RAG pipelines, implement conversational feedback, memory, and all those things, right? So I think it kind of makes sense. The applied AI already makes sense as your second track or as your other track. But for the ML engineering, start from foundations and then build it from there. Does that make sense now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right. Are there any other questions? Do we have questions on the live stream? Daniel. I'm happy to take any questions anyone has on the live stream. Okay. Are people? No one. People are not watching this live stream, are they? Okay. Please, guys, on YouTube, if you have questions, ask me now because I'm about to drop off, and I will go into our final session for the day. So I would have like a 30 minutes introduction to machine learning. This is for the ML and LLM engineering tracks, but everyone is free because this is an opening session and opening conference. So everyone in attendance is free to attend this session. We're supposed to have introduction to large language models today. However, the speaker for that had to ask for it for reschedule to tomorrow evening. So that'll be an online session, right? So that's probably the reason why we've even like gotten. We'll probably have been more snappy if that session was to hold. So all the sessions today are available for everyone on the call. So the next one after this will just be getting started with machine learning, where you get to dive into I won't say dive into, it's not really a dive, it's kind of an introduction because it's very beginner friendly for those who are new to this. If you're an OG in ML and you still want to attend, please let us respect our beginners and our learners because we'll focus on like fundamentals and especially like interesting stuff around the concepts and all that. It's not going to be too in-depth, it's not going to be anything technical. We are not going to be writing code today. Unlike, of course, last year, AI Summer of Code, when on the very first day, everybody wrote code, everybody built a Flask API, and everybody was able to actually do a Q&A. We're not doing that today. Last year was 4 weeks. This year it is 4 months. So there's no need to be in a hurry. We are not in a hurry, right? So yeah, let's take the next question. Fidelis, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I actually noticed that we have 2 tracks, and I think I did apply for the 2 tracks, and I wanted to see how do you balance those 2 tracks up like together whilst working in order. I have a background in data science. I've already worked with models and order. I just need to brush my foundations in data science or in ML before moving to the applied. I still want to take both because I really want to brush my background and my foundations. But my question is, how do you balance both? If you decide to go in for the 2 tracks, is there going to be a time conflict, or are they lead in a way where you don't get to miss both courses?
All right, thank you for that. I think Sam just reacted to something I said like in the venue here. So it was a response to, I didn't know I was muted, but it was a response to Fidelis as you're asking your question, because I was just talking about the fact that those of you that have done or have picked 2 tracks, you're actually in for a wide ride, right? So, but anyways, one of the things that we've tried to do is that first of all, we have more speakers. Last year we had like a dozen. Actually, at the end of the day, it was just like maybe 10 plus me, because there was one of them that was not really available like for the whole thing, so it didn't show up anymore. But in any case, this year we have 20. And the sessions are happening, they are hardly overlapping sessions, right? It's rare that we're going to be having like sessions from different tracks, happening around the same time, or they may happen the same day, but certainly not the same time. So a timetable will be out within the next, within this week. We're currently in week 1. So within this week, before the middle of this week, which I would say that's like Tuesday, Wednesday, the full timetable will be out. The entire schedule on calendar would also be done, so that on your calendar you can also look at it. But we'll of course do we'll do an actual copy of the timetable for you to download. So now what I'm saying in essence is this, right? You should be prepared. If you have picked 2 tracks, you should be prepared to devote your time. All I just ask of you guys is, so once you have the timetable, all I ask of you guys, right, is to give time and attention to the sessions. Now, of course, you can focus on one as a primary track, right? and maybe see any of the sessions in the other track that you can actually attend as a live session. One of the things that we did was in the registration form, we indicated, or we wanted to know wanted to know, which track you're picking as a primary track or as a secondary track. We did that deliberately so that we all know that this is a primary focus for you and this is a secondary focus. And we only did this for the dedicated group because we don't want to have, as a team, right, to be overloaded with 500 plus people. We've had 600 registrations for AI Summer of Code Season 2. So if we have to do this for the entire community, 2 tracks, managing everyone and managing this for them, it will be a lot. So we just want to have a specific focus, right? And we'll be able to give you that attention and know that, okay, this is your primary track. We'll guide you on this. But if this is your secondary track, we'll also see how we can manage it for you. We are going to disturb you. We are going to be on your neck. My team is going to be on each and every one of everybody's neck. So if you paid and you think that you would not, or if you paid and you're already feeling like maybe you will not really focus on this, right? It's not going to work because you will get back-to-back calls and messages from my team, right? So what I'm saying in essence is that we are going to support you, all right? But at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to happen with you doing 2 tracks is that you're going to have so many sessions in a week to have to attend to. So instead of like 3 or 4 sessions a week, you probably be doing 7 sessions a week, right? So that's the only thing. The typical structure, I want to say this ahead of before you guys get the final timetable, right? The typical structure is going to be 2 days or 3 days max during the week, and 2 days. We maximize the weekends for AI Summer of Code. So last year we did that too. Saturdays and Sundays we have sessions. Occasionally our speakers kind of reschedule, so Sundays sessions may not hold eventually, but every Saturday we have sessions, right? So expect to have at least 4 sessions every week for a single track. So for the weekdays, you're going to be having as much as, at minimum 2 sessions, at maximum 3 sessions. For the weekends, you're going to be having Saturdays and Sundays, right? Now, very important too is that if you are doing 2 tracks, it means that you will be doing more sessions, obviously. So maybe track A is track A is holding on Tuesday, track B is holding on Wednesday, track A is holding on Thursday, track B is holding on Friday, something like that. So it means just prepare to have or to dedicate time to having additional sessions than those who did or who opted for a single track. But again, if you have a primary focus, please let that take the utmost priority. If you want to take a break from doing that back-to-back sessions, right, make sure you're not taking a break from the 2. Take a break from your secondary track and focus more on your primary track. Does that make sense now?
Yeah, I think it's quite clear. As you said, when we were failing or when I was failing, I actually had a chance to pick my primary and secondary like sessions, which I might push in more effort to my primary over the secondary, as it's called secondary. But if these sessions are actually divided in such a way where you can actually balance both at the same time, that would be very, very grateful and helpful.
Yes. We'll definitely work on that. Thank you very much, Fidelis, for your question. All right, let's move on to Nello for your question. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Chinelo, and I'm working as a business analyst I'm building email and AI.
Is it just me? I cannot hear Nello.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I hope so. I think I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
This is not clear.
Please, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's not clear.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, you can go ahead now. We can. I think it's better now. You can go ahead.
Okay, I was saying that I'm currently working as a data analyst, right? So one and one is like self-learning, self-taught machine learning and AI, right? So I chose to do this. I chose machine learning and applied AI, so that I feel like I need to fill in the gaps. I feel like I'm missing something, right? I need to fill in the gap. So that's why I showed the two of them. But where my main mission is, right? I was very interested when I think someone was on the section, right? He was talking about, I was very particular about when somebody that got a job and when they were done with the program, with the section, right? After the 4 months. Last year, after 1 month. Yeah, so my issue is I am very, even though I'm looking at data analytics, but I work remote, I have time to dedicate to both tracks I want. Yeah, but my question is that, please, is there, what like, you help someone to like get a job? Do you like prefer, can I work in somebody's company? I don't even mind to start as an intern to like grow higher, right? Can I get a job when I'm done? I'm assuming I'm going to be dedicated. I am dedicated, right? After I'm done with that 4 months, can I like get a job? Am I seasoned enough to get a job as a proper, let's say, a machine learning engineer or an AI engineer? Because I want to move from data DA to that the field I want to move into, right? That's why I'm dedicating this time into it. So are you guys offering, like, let's say, the best performing person or whatever internship, or maybe because I saw we had that. I was also interested in the part the speakers we brought, or rather you guys brought that are going to like have talks, right? I Are you guys able to like connect us with like some of them? Yeah, thank you.
All right, I hear you. I hear you, Nello. Your question is very packed. It has like 5 different things inside, right? First of all, let me make something very clear that AI Summer of Code is not promising job opportunity or internship opportunity. We never promise that. Why? Because we just have one focus and one focus alone to help you develop mastery of your chosen pathway. That's it. That's like the promise. Now, whether or not you will end up getting an internship opportunity through AI Summer of Code, it's going to be an addendum, right?
Okay.
It's not what we promised.
Yeah.
Now, I say this because, let's say, for example, right, one of our stars from last year, Akolade, one of the things he did was that he continued to engage with the speakers and faculty members after the program, right? So build relationships. Don't just like genuinely pursue like relationships with these people. You have access to them. Build that relationship, right? So some of them are going to be on the group with everybody, right? Some of them would not. But every time every of them come on the session, they drop their contacts and how to reach them. So maximize it.
Okay.
You already have the people who are bringing in, right? They all know me. So you can go in my name and say, oh, don't say Zion sent you to message them. But when I say go in my name,
obviously,
that to go in the name of AI Summer of Code. You understand?
I understand.
So value AI Summer of Code, right? Because of the person bringing them in, to the faculty lineup or to the expert lineup. You understand? So that's what I mean by go in my name, but pretty much go in the name of AI Summer of Code. Every single one of them in the lineup are people I have relationship with. They are not just randomly picked people, right? So obviously, if you approach any of them, maybe on LinkedIn, you send a connection request, say from AI Summer of Code, I enjoyed your session, this, that, right? None of them would decline your request or decline an opportunity for you to, to speak with them. So just do that like little by little, or make sure you're not bombarding anybody. You understand? If you can't pursue, let's say Elena, for example, you're not going to pursue and say, please, I need internship in your organization. She will see it from a mile away. She will smell it. She will avoid you, right? So be genuine about like building connections, not just because of an immediate opportunity. Sometimes these people may not be able to help you immediately, right? But in the near future, or even in the far future, they can remember you because you built a connection. However, if you pressure them now and they bounce you off, that's it. There will be no future opportunity when they will not remember you in the future, because the only thing they will remember about you is that guy that came to my LinkedIn to start asking for job opportunity right away. Please, let's not do that, right? So build genuine connections.
Yeah.
Akolada's story is very clear. He continued to engage, with some of the speakers and instructors, right, and build relationship with them, express his curiosities, right. Some of them, like worked with him on helping him shape some of the projects that he worked on, right? He got feedback from them and things like that, out of genuine curiosity and genuine need to grow, right? And then from there, you would see that it's even likely that most of these guys, when you build this kind of connection with them, you may eventually not ask them for whether there's an opening in the organization. You may not even need to. You would eventually just know which opportunities to look out for, apply for those opportunities. You get what you want. It's the case of Akolade, for example. Akolade's testimony is like very clear when it comes to that regard, right? There are other people in AI Sources Season 1 that they refuse to share their testimony, but we know them. We know them, right? And some of the things are clear. Some of the participants or the members of the dedicated group now, right, are building on what they did last year. Some of them, like last year was the kind of focus was kind of applied AI. Some of them are doing production AI now because now it's more advanced, right? They're on this group, right? And they have their experiences. You heard some of the testimonials even from the participants' intros that we had earlier, right? So what I'm saying in essence is that build genuine connections, right? And understand that AISOC already is a career-defining experience already for those who take it very seriously, not for those who vibe attend it, right?
Yeah.
Vibe attend it, you will not get the value out of it. But if you dedicate and commit to it, you will get the value out of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Oh, there's a question here. Before DFK goes ahead, we have someone from the audience here. And I'll also pick some questions from the live. So go ahead with your question.
I've been thinking about it. I was thinking maybe there will be a recorded version, or maybe second draft. Like right now, I'm doing a lot of stuff on mathematics.
Martin's Michael, right?
Martin's Michael.
Good. Okay.
My focus graph theory. That's what I'm also.
Okay.
So I'm doing a lot of mathematics and tensor flow tracks. I've been waiting to see the timetable, whether we can say PyTorch framework. I want to know if you're teaching PyTorch framework, I can continue my own self-learning, focusing on
PyTorch. Okay, okay.
And then doing the mathematics on another side. Now, I just want to know, like, what framework are we going to carry?
PyTorch predominantly for LLM engineering. This question is for LLM engineering, correct?
Again?
If it's LLM engineering I'm talking about, or generally machine learning, we're literally starting from the traditional whatever. So Python, for the ML foundations, if I remember correctly, other than Python and scikit-learn, other tools will probably be like APIs, fast API, experimentation tools like weights and biases. No PyTorch for the foundations. Actually, no PyTorch in machine learning until we get to the deep learning topic. That's probably the only place where we'll bring in PyTorch, right? For the other topics, it's just going to be Python, scikit-learn, and like traditional ML frameworks. Does that make sense? For LLM engineering, PyTorch, yes. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think I need to.
Okay. All right. Let me quickly take some questions from the live stream. We are unfortunately going to be ending the session after this, so we'll reschedule the machine learning, getting started with machine learning to tomorrow. So bear with us, guys. we'll schedule that to tomorrow, and we'll find a way to manage the schedules. And then again, bear with us on the timetable. The reason the timetable has not been out yet is because of the enormous coordination efforts that we've had to do with all the speakers, right? So there's a lot of clashing schedules, a lot of different things that we're trying to organize tomorrow. So bear with us, guys. We'll schedule that to tomorrow, and we'll find a way to manage the schedules. And then again, bear with us on the timetable. The reason the timetable has not been out yet is because of the enormous coordination efforts that we've had to do with all the speakers, right? So there's a lot of clashing schedules, a lot of different. Give everyone a day tomorrow. So bear with us, guys. So we'll schedule that to tomorrow, and we'll find a way to manage the schedules. And then again, bear with us on the timetable. The reason the timetable has not been out yet is because of the enormous coordination efforts that we've had to do with all the speakers, right? So there's a lot of clashing schedules, a lot of different. Give everyone a day tomorrow. So bear with us, guys. So we'll schedule that to tomorrow, and we'll find a way to manage the schedules. And then again, bear with us on the timetable. The reason the timetable has not been out yet is because of the enormous coordination efforts that we've had to do with all the speakers, right? There's a lot of clashing schedules, a lot of different. Give everyone a day tomorrow. So bear with us, guys. We'll schedule that to tomorrow, and we'll find a way to manage the schedule. And then again, bear with us on the timetable. The reason the timetable has not been out yet is because of the enormous coordination efforts that we've had to do with all the speakers, right? There's a lot of clashing schedules, a lot of different. Give everyone a day tomorrow. So bear with us, guys. We'll schedule that to tomorrow, and we'll find a way to manage the schedule. And then again, bear with us on the timetable. The reason the timetable has not been out yet is because of the enormous coordination efforts that we've had to do with all the speakers, right? There's a lot of clashing schedules, a lot of different. Give everyone a day tomorrow. So bear with us, guys. We'll schedule that to tomorrow, and we'll find a way to manage the schedule. And then again, bear with us on the timetable. The reason the timetable has not been out yet is because of the enormous coordination efforts that we've had to do with all the speakers, right? There's a lot of clashing schedules, a lot of different. Give everyone a day tomorrow. Conference. Bear with us, guys. We'll schedule that to tomorrow, and we'll find a way to manage the schedule. And then again, bear with us on the timetable. The reason the timetable has not been out yet is because of the enormous coordination efforts that we've had to do with all the speakers, right? There's a lot of clashing schedules, a lot of different. Give everyone a day tomorrow. Conference. Bear with us, guys. We'll schedule that to tomorrow, and we'll find a way to manage the schedule. And then again, bear with us on the timetable. The reason the timetable has not been out yet is because of the enormous coordination efforts that we've had to do with all the speakers, right? There's a lot of clashing schedules, a lot of
Hello, hi Zion, can you hear me? Hello, hi Zion, can you hear me?
The YouTube audio is disturbing. Okay, it's sorted now. Is it sorted now? Can you guys hear me now? Is it better? How good is the sound? Okay, it's better now. Good. All right. So, would it be possible to get the timetable in advance? Of course, we'll get the timetable this week. Like I said, we apologize for the delay in getting your timetable. Right, we've had to do a lot of coordinating of schedules, coordinating across the different speakers to find out that actually, if you're already on our calendar, you will see some schedules. There are some sessions that are already scheduled on the calendar, like far away sessions. For example, Elena and Emily sessions are scheduled already. Segmesis, I think, is scheduled already, if I remember correctly. Segmesis is like September. Maybe it's not scheduled already yet. I think it's not scheduled yet. We have the Grand Deep session coming this week. One is scheduled already, right? So some sessions are already scheduled, right? So, but all the schedules will be communicated in the next coming days. Another question here: I'm a data analyst with need to ML, but I opted to apply track and wish to focus this on ML fundamental, right? Blah blah blah. Okay. I don't know if this was a question. I believe this was a comment. Okay. I believe these are all the questions on the live stream. So let me move on back to the meeting here. I noticed DevKev raised his hand earlier. DevKev, are you still on the call? I don't think. All right. I think that's pretty much it for now. I am going to just hand over back to Sam to give closing remarks and then close. There's someone raising their hand. Okay, you have a question. Okay, shoot, please.
I want to ask you the applied AI track.
No. Applied AI is we take a readily available model. You're not training it, you're not fine-tuning it, you're not doing any tweaking, right? And then you build an application on top, whether it's a RAG application or a question answering system or a coding agent, right? That you build on it. It could be a web search agent, or it could be even a combination of those different things. And you get it into a front end. Right? You learn how you build a basic front end. You can stream, you can then deploy that, can make it publicly available to anyone anywhere in the world, as long as maybe they can plug in the API key, except if you have money and you want to use the API key. But that's pretty much it. No deep learning. You are not learning like algorithms or models or training or any of those things. Does that make sense? It doesn't require the knowledge of deep learning. Why? The reason it doesn't require the knowledge of deep learning is because the track is kind of made to be flexible for even developers who are not, they have not been in ML or data science, right? People who have just, maybe folks who have just done web development, but they want to put AI on their web applications, right? Folks who are coming from like maybe research backgrounds who have not really done anything AI, but they want to just do like AI applications. You understand? So it's about taking available models and just making them readily available into applications. Does that make sense? Yeah. That angle that you took this board to, no, I will not necessarily say AI architecture. And by the way, AI architecture can mean different things, right? And AI architecture can mean the architecture or like it could mean the architecture of an actual AI system, like a full-scale AI system. And AI architecture could also mean a deep learning or a neural network architecture. So not that, right? Okay. So like an actual AI system. I don't think I would call it an AI architecture focus because although yes, there's a particular topic in applied AI that would be on designing LLM applications. So it's basically about designing an AI application. So what would actually do AI system design, right? But we have system design across all the different tracks. So there's system design in ML, but it's for an ML system, not like a full software system. The system design in production AI. This one now covers a full AI system. So each system design in each of the different tracks have their specific focus. Does that make sense? Yes.
Sure. I mean, 234. After this year's tomorrow, when is the next year?
Next year, this time next year.
Okay.
That's season 3. It's just a thing. Can you miss it? Maybe you'll come back some months later. If you miss it, this time next year. Yeah. To be honest, you don't. The beautiful thing about a career, especially in tech, is that you don't need to be in a hurry. Just be very serious about something you want to do, right? For example, we have guys. I can call names on this meeting link here now that are returning. DevCare, for example. Sorry, I'm calling your name. Well, I'll call his name. DevCare, for example, he was in SOC last year. DevCare is a software engineer, right? But our AI summer call last year, when you think about it compared to this year, it's more like applied AI. So last year, take it that we did applied AI last year, right? So that means someone that graduated from the program and really did it well doesn't need to come back this year for applied AI. Now you now go to something more advanced, or even go to something entirely different, like you could now go into ML, which ML is kind of like a different tangent entirely, right? Because now you're dealing with traditional models and the trenches of data science, right? But applied AI from last year can come back this year and do production AI. Does that make sense? So if you feel you cannot do 2 tracks at once, you understand, then just focus on 1 track. Learn it well. That's the point. The logic behind us merging providing room for 2 tracks is that some of the tracks are like there's a connection or a logical connection between them. Like applied AI to production AI is a logical connection, right? However, I still feel like the gap is too wide. If you're doing applied AI and you're jumping to production AI, calm down. But LLM engineering is like there's a logical connection from LLM engineering to production AI. There's a logical connection from ML to production AI. There's a logical connection between ML and LLM engineering. Does it make sense? Because obviously that's like the most obvious, like training models, right? So there's a logical connection from applied AI and machine learning. There's a logical connection from applied AI and LLM engineering. Because in applied AI, you are using language models. In LLM engineering, you are not training the language models, not just using it. Does it make sense? So we did it so that if you have like interest along 2 things that have logical connections, you can still do it. But if you feel like it's going to be too much, there's no
My point is, after now you have to wait for all those things. And that's a long time.
You want it all.
And then watch recording for maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, then that works, of course. Yeah, that works. Oh, pay for how many? Sorry.
3.
No.
No, but if I pay for 2 now, I won't have access to it. Because let's say
you have access to the recordings of
machine learning, LLM,
of
how much?
If you pay for two, anything you pay for, you have access to the recordings of those things you paid for, but not the other things.
So I'm saying pay for three to just have access to the
This guy is a mathematician, truly. You are a mathematician, truly. But no, so let's just say that as much as we want, to be honest, I don't have a problem with you. If you pay for all the tracks, right? I honestly don't have a problem with that. In fact, it even like it makes more money available to the AISOC team that we can organize more things and we can run administrative things, right? However, I care about the learning experience, and I feel like you may end up not consuming those additional things that you pay for. That's just the truth. Guess what? Last year, recordings were free, and it's till today, it's available lifetime. We have not, I don't want to say lifetime, but we have forgotten to close it, so we have not yet like blocked access. The drive is still there. Maybe if I remember now, maybe if I'm not in a good mood, I'll go and close access to it, right? But what I'm saying in essence is this: the sessions last year, they were all recorded and they are all available, and everyone was right on the drive, right? Guess what? It's not every one of them that still went back to those recordings to say, oh, let me revisit this. Especially the ones that didn't fully attend. Most of them would say, oh, well, I'll go back to the recordings. But guess what? They did not go back. I can point to not one of them in this venue. Two people. They know themselves. They know themselves, right? So the point I'm making is that you might think that if you pay for everything, you'll be able to go back. You know, sometimes when a particular learning goal is very interesting and sweet, you will think that you devote yourself to it. There's this I don't know how to explain it. There's this inner sweetness that, oh, I'm about to start this. Don't worry. Let's come back 1 month from now. Let's come back 1 month. Everybody will calm down. Don't worry. So please, let's stick to 2 tracks, right? Don't worry. Let's stick to 2 tracks. All right. Finally, let's give DevKev a chance to speak, and then we'll just close from here. DevKev, over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Prof. Yeah, hi guys, hi everyone. Okay, so basically, I think my point right now is more an observation, but then maybe there'll be one question tucked in somewhere. I'm sure everyone will be smart enough to pick it out. So I'll just talk about my experience, right? I actually have been struggling with which of the courses or which of the tracks to pick. I was caught between the ML and the production AI. The production AI spoke more to me because of my particular stage right now. I'm a software engineer. I'm also running some aspects of DevOps for my team. So it made more sense to be able, and in fact, there's right now a use case that management of my company are specifically targeting, and everybody's just looking one way, and me too. I'm also looking at them because I know that it's like when you say, yeah, better supramolecular, right? And I'm like, okay, fine, you want this thing, but you're not ready to invest in it. So me, I'm just, trying to gather myself together and then, target a specific exit routes, to be honest. But anyway, I struggled, right, between picking ML because ML spoke to more of like my initial route or my initial introduction into AI, and I felt like I was a bit rusty in the fundamentals. But at the same time, it's not really where I am right now. I've kind of progressed more into software and DevOps. So I felt like, okay, being able to deploy AI systems makes more sense, right, in my trajectory or my strategy for my career. So that's where it is. But I'm still keeping one eye on LLM engineering and ML. So, do you understand? And I knew myself that if I say I'll pay for 2 courses or 2 tracks, I know that I will not be able to combine that with work, right? Work is really hectic. And so I know that, okay, my spare time, I can just devote to one. So that's what made me just say, you know what, stick to one path. And I just closed my eyes and chose production. But so this is where the hidden question is now. If if it is possible that somehow maybe one day, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, Zion and team will just decide that they'll just unlock the door on the materials for the other courses, so that those who have paid will just somehow they just find access to those things in Google Drive or something, one way or the other. Nobody has to know. Do you understand? It will just be
But just be between us that, have already paid for courses, and then maybe we've been able to show some mastery in our chosen tracks, and then possibly be able to, now as a bonus, now between now and next year, we'll just find that the door is actually open, walk in, quietly take something, and then leave in the other tracks. So basically, that's my observation slash contribution slash hidden question. Yeah.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. And okay, Kiss says I support you. I hear you, Dev K, honestly. I honestly hear you. So well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, when we're building the tracks, we figured that people will have these issues, right? And there are people that told me that they want to do all the different pathways. I said you cannot handle it. It's better to just focus. Now that it's time to focus now, there's kind of decision paralysis because it's like, how do I maximize the track? Like, how do I maximize my choice? You understand? So I think at the end of the day, just think about what is the most, like, what is the one that aligns for you the most in the near term, near to mid term, maybe long term, but at least near to mid term, and just focus on that, right? So I would say that's pretty much it. But I mean, who knows? Maybe after AISOC, season 2 is over, maybe we'll be in a good mood and can I say, well, you know what? We just open the drive for everybody, like for all the tracks for everyone in dedicated group. I don't know. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying that maybe. But yeah, I definitely hear you. I hope we don't have any further questions in the live stream. I want us to end the session here. So I will wrap up. I would hand over now to Sam. Sam, just do a closing remark and let's drop off. Everyone has like really been here for the last 4 hours since 11, and it's already 3 p.m. And so it's definitely time to go. Thank you so much, everyone. I look forward to speaking with you guys more. And for those of you on the live stream, it might seem as though I'm not getting your comments early. Don't worry, I'm on the group. We'll come back to the WhatsApp group. In Nigerian parlance, we gather day. Thank you, guys. Sam.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Zion. That was a very, very amazing one. I think I'm audible enough. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Need to connect here. Okay, it's on your phone. But yeah. Just a little bit. Make yourself look at the video. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, Dr. Zion, for that amazing keynote address. It was a very, very insightful one. It was very exciting. There were a whole lot of things that I gained from there. And I am also sure that everyone as well would have gained so much insight from it. Now, this is just the open conference. It's just the start of what's about to begin. Right? We've not even started already. So it's just the start of what is about to start, right? So we want to put it that way. It's going to be a whole lot of amazing experience. We're going to immerse ourselves in-depthly into artificial intelligence concepts, development, implementations, growth, and community building. Right now, just like Zion also mentioned, some of the things that we're going to do is to build an active community of AI innovators, right, that will be solid across the world and be able to make key implementations and contributions both in our everyday lives, in our various companies where we get to find ourselves in, and of course to the development of the world at large, right? I would like to say a very big thank you to everyone who has taken their time to be a part of this session today. I'm sure that you've been able to gain so much as I did, right? Now, like I already mentioned, it's the start of what is about to start. By tomorrow, we would be having our very first session on Introduction to Machine Learning. And this is a session for everyone to also participate in. Key announcements will be made via the group chats. For persons who have been added into certain groups, major communications will be held there. You also have access to communications via your email. So you want to make sure that at all points in time, you look out for communications from the AI Summer of Code team, right? There will always be communications. That being said, I think we've come to the end of the session today. Please look out for the WhatsApp group. Also look out for your emails. We're going to put out a feedback form, and we would appreciate to get your responses, your feedback, your very honest feedback on the session today. Now, this is something that's going to help us be able to improve in subsequent sessions and ensure that we're able to serve you right. Now, in the past edition, we were able to collect responses, and we use those responses, we analyze them, and then we use them to be able to provide information. You could ask people from the past sessions, of the past edition, they will tell you that every session got better and better and better, right? So this was because we always got responses. We are data inclined, data first, of course, right? So we definitely want to still use all of those information to provide better services for you, or a more better experience for you here at the AI Summer of Code. Thank you very much, everyone, once again. It's been an amazing time. It's been an amazing evening. And I will see you all in tomorrow's session. Please look out for your emails, look out for your calendar. You get the updates, and then you can join the session tomorrow. Have a good evening, and bye-bye.